Most of us dread small talk. We see it as the opening act at a concert, something you suffer through to get to the main event. Deep conversations, real connections. And let's be honest, who doesn't crave those deeper connections? We all do. But if you put your phone down for 2 minutes and actually looked around, you'd realize something profound. Every interaction, every relationship starts with small talk. Even your closest friendships probably began with, "So, what classes are you taking?" Or some equally awkward, seemingly insignificant nonsense. Here's an unpopular take, one that might just change your entire perspective. Small talk isn't really about what you say. At least, not for the most part. Instead, its true purpose is to make the other person feel like a human being, not some Sims character waiting for input. That's it. You don't need a cheat code, a meticulously crafted script, or even inherent charisma. What you do need to learn is one crucial skill: active observation. I know. It sounds like something a nerd would say, but just hear me out. Active observation is simply about paying genuine attention to the person in front of you, as if they're the only thing that exists in that moment. Forget their vibe or their aura. Focus on the actual, tangible details. Their shirt, their drink, the way they keep glancing at the clock like they'd rather be anywhere else. You notice these things, and then you comment on them in a way that invites, not demands, a response. That's the secret. Why active observation works, wonders you might be thinking. This sounds too simple to be effective, but trust me, it's incredibly powerful. Here's why. People love to feel seen. It's basic psychology. Humans are hardwired to crave acknowledgement. When you make an observation, you're not trying to be deep and mysterious, or even particularly witty. You're simply conveying, "Hey, I notice you exist." This isn't about some grand, profound revelation. It's about a simple, genuine recognition of their presence. It makes people feel valued, even if it's just for a fleeting moment. Think about it. When was the last time someone truly saw you in a crowd? Not just as another face, but as an individual with unique traits? That feeling of being noticed, of being acknowledged for who you are, is incredibly validating. Active observation taps into that fundamental human need. It's disarming when you make an observation. You're not putting pressure on the other person to perform. You're not hitting them with typical interview-style questions like, "So, what do you do?" Or "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" These questions, while common, can feel intrusive and demanding, forcing the other person to justify themselves or their life choices. Instead, you're just gently tossing a ball in their direction, seeing if they want to throw it back. There's no expectation, no judgment. This lack of pressure makes people feel more at ease and more likely to engage. It's an invitation, not an interrogation. This subtle difference is key to creating a comfortable, open environment for conversation. Putting active observation into practice. Examples. Let's look at some real-world scenarios to illustrate how this works. Scenario 1. The coffee shop. You're at a bustling coffee shop, and the person next to you is holding a well-worn book, its pages dog-eared and spine cracked. Most people, thinking they're being polite, might ask, "What are you reading?" But that's pressure. You're implicitly asking them to explain, justify, or summarize. And honestly, no one wants to do that with a stranger. It puts the onus on them to deliver an interesting synopsis or an explanation for their reading choices. Instead, try this. "That book looks like it's been through some things." Boom. You've made an observation that's neutral, but inherently interesting. It's a statement, not a question, removing the pressure to perform. Maybe they'll laugh and say, "Yeah, it's my 3rd reread." Or perhaps they'll confess, "Oh, it's terrible. I just want to finish it out of spite." Either way, you've initiated a conversation without making them feel like they're undergoing an interrogation. You've simply opened a door, allowing them to step through if they choose. Scenario 2. The party. If you're an introvert, a party is likely your personal nightmare. The sheer volume of people, the expectation to mingle, the pressure to be social can be overwhelming. But let's say someone walks by holding a plate of food that looks questionable. Perhaps it's a dish you've never seen before, or it just has a peculiar presentation. Instead of ignoring them or retreating into the shadows, you could say, "Is that the chicken? It looks like it fought back." Again, you're not asking a direct question. You're making an observation, and you're doing so in a way that invites humor. They might laugh and agree, "Oh, it certainly did." Or they might even playfully defend the chicken. No, it's actually delicious. Regardless, you've opened the door for a connection. You've broken the ice with a lighthearted comment, creating a shared moment of amusement. The beauty of active observation is its sheer versatility. It works everywhere. Work meetings, first dates, family gatherings, networking events, you name it. It's flexible, it's simple, and perhaps best of all, it takes the focus off you. You don't have to be the most charming or the wittiest person in the room. You just have to notice things and point them out. Simple as that. It frees you from the pressure of always having something clever to say, allowing you to be present and authentic. Mastering the art. Practical steps. All right, let's talk about what active observation actually looks like in practice, breaking it down into actionable steps. 1. Train yourself to notice details. This is the foundational step. It means consciously putting your phone down, taking your headphones out, and genuinely paying attention to your surroundings. Imagine yourself as a detective, observing every minute detail. Your mission isn't to judge or analyze, but simply to observe. What are people wearing? Look at their accessories, a unique pin, an interesting watch, a worn-out backpack. What are they doing? Are they reading, sketching, fidgeting, checking their watch, or scrolling on their phone? Notice their posture, their gestures, their expressions. These seemingly insignificant details can tell you a surprising amount about a person and their current state. The key here is intentionality. It's not just passively seeing, it's actively seeking out details. Practice this everywhere, in line at the grocery store, on your commute, while waiting for a friend. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. 2. Practice turning observations into comments. This is where many people get stuck. They overthink it, worrying about sounding weird or intrusive. But the reality is, most people are far too engrossed in their own thoughts to judge you as harshly as you imagine. Your comment doesn't need to be profound or even particularly clever. It just needs to be genuine and based on what you've observed. So, when you see someone in a bright yellow jacket, don't agonize over the perfect witty remark. You can simply say, "That's a bold color choice. I respect it." Done. It doesn't need to be some original, groundbreaking insight. You've simply opened the door for a potential conversation. The key here is to be genuine and non-judgmental. Avoid comments that could be misconstrued as criticism or overly personal. Focus on things that are visible and relatively neutral. For instance, if someone is wearing a band t-shirt, instead of asking, "Do you like that band?" which can feel like a test, you could say, "Oh, band name. I haven't heard them in ages. Their early stuff was great." This invites a response without demanding one, and it shares a bit of your own experience, making it more personal. 3. Get comfortable with silence. Not every observation will lead to a full-blown conversation, and that is perfectly fine. The goal isn't to force an interaction or extract information. It's to offer the other person an opportunity to engage if they choose to. If they don't respond or their response is brief, simply move on. No harm, no foul. Don't take it personally. They might be busy, shy, or simply not in the mood to chat. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. You'll start to realize that small talk isn't about impressing people or proving how interesting you are. It's about being present, paying attention, and making others feel seen. It's not deep, but it truly works. And honestly, once you get good at it, it can even be enjoyable. You'll develop a light touch, an ability to initiate without clinging to the outcome. The glitch in the matrix effect. You might still be thinking, "This sounds way too simple to actually work." But consider this. When was the last time someone genuinely noticed something about you and mentioned it in a non-weird, authentic way? Probably not recently. The truth is, most people are so consumed by their own internal narratives, their worries, their to-do lists, their social media feeds, that they barely notice anyone else. Their attention is fragmented, pulled in a million different directions. So, when you actually do notice something and comment on it, it creates a sort of glitch in the matrix. It's an unexpected deviation from the norm. People pay attention because they're not used to it. It stands out. You become memorable simply by being present and observant. It's a subtle act of human connection that cuts through the noise of everyday life. Let me give you another example. You're at a Halloween party, another introvert's worst nightmare, often filled with loud music and forced costume commentary, and someone walks in wearing a tie with tiny rubber ducks on it. Most people would either ignore it or offer a generic nice tie. But not you. You're going to be different. You're going to say, "Okay, I need to know the story behind the ducks." You've instantly made it personal. You've transformed their accessory into a conversation starter, and you've done it in a way that makes them feel interesting. It's a unique observation that signals genuine curiosity, not just idle politeness. This approach works with virtually anything, as long as your observation is specific and authentic. Shoes. Instead of "nice shoes," try, "Those look way too clean to be comfortable." This invites them to share whether they're new, incredibly well-maintained, or just for show. Coffee order. If you notice a complex drink, you could say, "That's a lot of whipped cream for someone who doesn't look like they're celebrating." said with a playful, not judgmental, tone, accompanied by a slight smile. This could lead to them sharing a small indulgence, a funny story, or a specific reason for their elaborate order. Someone's dog. If you see someone with a dog and the dog has a particular expression or behavior, you can just say something along the lines of, "I feel like your dog judges people, and I respect that." This immediately creates a shared moment of amusement and allows the dog owner to share anecdotes about their pet's personality. Notice a pattern? You're not trying to be hilariously funny or incredibly clever. You're just noticing things and transforming them into somewhat intriguing comments. The goal is to open a conversational loop, not to close it with a punchline. The crucial element, authenticity, one more thing, and this is critical. You have to mean it. People can smell fake interest from a mile away. If you're only doing this because you think it's what you should do, it won't work. Your observations will feel forced, your comments insincere, and the entire interaction will fall flat. You have to genuinely care about the person, or at least something about that person, even if it's just for 5 minutes. This genuine curiosity is what elevates active observation from a mere technique to a true skill. This is where many introverts, and people in general, get tripped up. We often believe we're bad at small talk because we dislike shallow conversations. We crave depth, meaning, and authentic connection. But here's the revelation. Small talk isn't shallow if you're truly paying attention. It's just the first layer. It's the doorway to something deeper. The more you practice active observation, the more you'll realize that people are endlessly fascinating, even when they're discussing seemingly mundane topics. Every person carries a unique story, a collection of experiences, and a world of perspectives. Active observation is the first step in uncovering those layers. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where small talk is inevitable, and let's be realistic, that's almost every social situation, from the office water cooler to a family reunion, try active observation. Notice something, comment on it, and then simply let the conversation unfold naturally. There's no need to try and be the life of the party or the most popular person in the room. You just have to be present. You just have to be curious. You just have to be human. Once you've nailed this, something truly interesting happens. Small talk stops feeling like a chore. It transforms into a game, a fun one even. You'll begin to enjoy noticing things and seeing how people react. The initial awkwardness fades, replaced by a sense of playful engagement. You'll stop agonizing over what to say because you'll realize it doesn't really matter. What does matter is showing up, paying attention, and making people feel seen. That's the entire point. It's not about being interesting. It's about being interested. So, the next time you're standing in line at a coffee shop, at a networking event, or even just waiting for an elevator, take a moment to truly notice the person in front of you. What are they wearing? What are they holding? How are they standing? Pick one thing, make a simple, authentic comment, and see what happens. Worst case scenario, they don't respond, perhaps look a little confused, and you simply move on with your life. No harm, no foul. Best case, you've just made a genuine connection, a small but significant step towards a deeper interaction. What do you have to lose? And what wonderful stories might you discover?